Hey everybody, in this video I'm chatting to Bryan Jones, the coach of Pony, about his experiences training surrounding and running surrounding drills with Pony last season.
One of the things when we experimented with surrounding this year, because one of the things I love is your drills. Like that's the one thing like I really have really enjoyed is that the ability to get better at switching and communicating and surrounding. Those drills are gold. I love that. And you can see the offense start to pick that apart. And there's this invariable chess match that happens in our practices where it's like we're working on surrounding. The offense knows we're working on surrounding, and guess what? They're really smart people. And John Randolph, Jimmy Mickle, Chris Kotcher, and they're elite. And so when they realize they have leverage because you're now closing in a way that doesn't make sense, meaning like you're going from playing in space to now trying to go one to one for that second, right? You're going from a surround to a one to one. They can pivot really nicely and
Mm.
really make you pay. And that was a problem we were running into. And I'm not using that as an argument against surrounding. We had to simplify things because of lack of like we were missing personnel at times. People were injured, and we didn't get enough time on task on it. Like it's one of those things where, as you know, you got to devote a lot of time to it. You've got to be about it, and we couldn't be about it in the way we wanted to in this last season. But there's a lot of things I really like about it.
Yeah, and I hope that's not. I mean, I don't think it will be a like an insurmountable hurdle, but especially for like the top level teams, there is like a hurdle there. It needs to like if you're gonna go into it, then yeah, it requires like extra commitment, and there's dangerous because it's like risky, it's untried thing. So really like it's a bit of
It's
like a
also yeah, it's also you're when you think about it, right, you're battling entrenched value systems of when people have players are not robots. They're emotional beings that are when they feel like they want to know they've done a good job and they know how to do that in one to one. Most of them have, and they're these really great athletes, and we have a lot of them on Pony. And when you give them something that is complex or let's say has uncertainty and how to do it and you have to work through that and practice it a lot, it's going to take more than one practice. It's going to take more than a few to just master it. They start to have like this doubt that creeps in of like, am I doing a good job? I don't know if I'm doing a good job.
mm.
And they have to be reminded of that they are. Don't worry, no, this is a little chaotic. You're going to make not perfect decisions, but you're going to make smart
And
decisions.
it's harder for a coach to actually identify whether they're doing a good job or not. Like when it breaks down,
Right.
like there's
Exactly.
it's like 10 people that are moving around all at the same time and like making split-second decisions. There's no way a
Yeah,
coach
whose
can
fault was
confidently
that? Well,
say, yeah.
well, we had three opportunities for a switch, and none of them happened. So all three of you, I guess, have share some of the blame. And they're like, okay, well,
Mm.
what do we do? Well, that situation is not going to be recreated perfectly. So, and this is where your work comes in of how do we develop rules of thumbs? How do we develop better drills? Because the idea here, the defense doesn't have to play perfect; they just have to play good enough to force a turnover
Yeah,
or
yeah.
to do something good.
Create
And
chaos.
so,
Yeah.
right, to make and so when you look at the meta from 2018, it was we're going to stand downfield for 7 seconds because that was the dominant meta from Revolver, and we were able to do a lot of poaching. And then as soon as that happened, right, some teams, Machine has done an incredible job. I think they're really doing a
Yeah, I
great
was
job
gonna
with
mention
switching.
machine. Yeah,
Yeah, they're really fun to watch in that way, and they devote a lot to it.
not
And
just
so
switching, like
teams,
proper team defense as well. Like
right?
kind
So,
of forced by
so
a couple of their players, like Bansfield being like, right, we will play team defense because I'm doing
right,
it.
exactly. And so you see an offense that went from staring down the field for 7 seconds, and now all of a sudden the offenses are staring down the field for two or three at most. And so they're recognizing the people in the lane, they're recognizing the poachers, they're moving it quickly, they're doing a lot of things that happen. And so you have all of a sudden the game looks very different or feels very different from what you need to do to disrupt an offense from 2018 to what you need to do now. And it's always team dependent, but largely general trends is what I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
so for us this year, it was like whenever like our own team was getting better at combating surrounding. Like if you look at us play Machine versus in 2021 versus 2019, there's a large difference. And so it's always kind of like what's going on lately that teams are planning for. And so you're trying to find the thing that's going to disrupt the other team's rhythm and make them uncomfortable.
Mm.
And there's a lot of good options out there now. It's really great for the game that Machine is doing this. Atlanta has kind of a zone centric philosophy that's different, um, and there's a lot of different ways you can go with it.
It's interesting, Brian, talking about like the reward system or how players know they've done a good job when they're surrounding versus one to one. When you're one to one marking, that's normally like the right thing to do is just mark your person out. But sometimes the right thing to do is actually surrounding or switching. And I think those one to one tethers, you can see where someone's like latched onto one person. Those are hard to break because that's like a safety net almost. To actually break that and then be like, okay, I'm not just going to mark one person. Now I'm going to like switch and mark the second person, or like I'm going to mark these two people until I know which one's coming towards me. Or when you got a stack and you don't have any tether, or you got like 5 tethers to every player that's in the stack. That's more like unexplored territory for these players out of their comfort zone. And when you drill surrounding, then you do have to dumb down the offense, and there's a few different ways you can do that to put in some constrictions to make them slower or just less likely to kind of rip apart the defense so quickly. And I think that's necessary in order to build the defense skills up. When you play then in a game and the opponents aren't expecting you to surround their first stack and they'll run their set of play, it's actually easier than doing it at a training where the offense know what you're going to be trying to do. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you again soon.